Hey everyone, Engineer Pat 5290 coming to you with Model Railroad Monday's August episode. Um, Hope to see you guys around here for just a little bit. We're going to have some fun tonight with lots of Model Railroad questions and lots of Model Railroad topics. You're more than welcome to ask me about anything Model Railroad related. How to fix something, maybe some scenery stuff, and maybe some tips that you'd like to contribute. So just to name a few of the topics we do discuss. So sit back, enjoy, and I'm going to go ahead and open this stream up for you guys, and we're going to have some fun. So, guys, go ahead and bring on the questions, and I can't wait to see everyone here. Trainman 1993 is on. What's going on, man? What is going on? I'll look at your comment here in just a second. So I see we got a couple of people on. Please, guys, come on down. The fun is ready to begin. So we're gonna have some good times and gonna actually have some rocking good times tonight. So yeah, I'm really excited about this. Thank you, Matt, for reinforcing the rules on this. I do appreciate it. Just remember, guys, this is for Model Railroad stuff only. If you would like to ask me some other questions, you can participate in the Q&A prompt for August. That is actually already on my YouTube channel, so you could definitely take a look at that if you would like to ask questions about big trains and other things. So we're going to do some Model Railroad stuff tonight, so guys, please stick around and let's have some fun. Stephen Casey's up there. Hey, man, how's it going? And Trayman 1993 actually asked a question. What do you like about the Lionel Volume 2 catalog? I have looked at a couple of pages of it. I have not looked at it in full detail, but I do know there's a lot of good releases in there. Lionel catalog covers are always cool. One of them is the Acela Express, which I thought was pretty cool. And also the 120-year cover was really awesome as well. That was a really pretty cover with photos of Josh Cowan and some of the other vintage Lionel covers. I thought that was a really nice effort there by Lionel. And I've always been a fan of Lionel, especially with their catalogs. And Steve is also reinforcing the rules. Thank you, Steve, very much. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that. So I'm glad to see you guys are on. So guys, please come on in and ask some questions away. I'm going to continue this for a while, so go ahead and continue asking some questions. Mom and Sons Trains Rail Fans, that's Tammy. Hey Tammy, how's it going? And guys, they're actually doing a HO scale layout. They've done a lot of work to it. So guys, the Mom and Sons Train Rail Fans, please give them some subscribes and also show them some love, please. They have really done an awesome HO scale layout. I have seen some of the behind the scenes work that they have been doing, and it is legit. I mean, this is a really cool HO scale layout, guys. So definitely take a look at their channel with all the updates that they have been able to do with their layout. It's really awesome. And Tammy says, thank you very much. You're very welcome, too. Stephen asked me thoughts on the Bachmann B23-7s. Bachmann has always done good releases on those. With the Santa Fe, they've done a whole lot of them. I think they've done it in Union Pacific, I think. They've done it in Santa Fe. They've always done a good release on that locomotive. Your opinion on this? This is Trainman 1993 speaking. The thoughts about the Southern Pacific SD40 T-2 in the Black Widow scheme that Lionel made an O-gauge for the legacy side. It looks okay, but it is not as good as the traditional Southern Pacific paint scheme. The Black Widow paint scheme looks good. on their passenger locomotives, like their F7s, and I think they even had some E8s in there, I think. They looked really good on their passenger locomotives. So, but Lionel still did a beautiful rendition of it. I'm not criticizing Lionel. It's just they actually kind of went a little bit different on it. But I'm always, you know, interested in what these manufacturers can do. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Tammy just brought up something that they've done a mountain on their HO scale layout, and they've actually used great stuff, or I think it's called the great stuff or the good stuff. It is insulated foam that you can find at, you know, the hardware store, that you can actually take a plastic trash bag, you know, make a little space on your counter, and what they've done is they've scored it out and allow it to expand and make it into a mountain. They did it in multiple layers, and they went back and shaped it up a little bit and also spray painted it. It's a really quick and easy way you can do a mountain. Another way you can do it that I figured out is paper mache is not bad. You know, you can mix flour with water, and you can use cut strips of paper, make it that way, and make a mold for it. But the great stuff is actually a really good way to make one, because you can do it standing up and just squirting it out and just letting the foam expand and dry, and basically you're taking the hard labor out of you, which is awesome. And she says thank you, and you're most welcome. What do you think about Bachmann's diesel horn on the oil storage tank in N scale and HO scale? That's actually a really cool accessory that Bachmann offered. And that's also a really good way where you can plug up a small accessory and still have realistic sounds on your HO scale layout, especially for locomotives that are just DCC. And Steve KC Railfan just said Scale Trains did release their next one of ET44s, but the EJ&E Heritage is delayed right now. So he just gave a little update there. And thank you, Steve, for the continued updates on that, because I'm really glad Scale Trains is doing that. And for the ones of you who are not familiar with Scale Trains and Intermountain are pretty new to the hobby, and they've really stepped up the game out there. I hear a lot of good things about Scale Trains. I don't have any of them in my HO scale collection. As I've said before, I have Athearn, a little bit of Atlas, a little bit of Walthers, have some Bachmann, but most of all, Athearn Ready to Roll and Athearn Genesis. Oh, well, he's got the 3023 pre-ordered. Nice, nice, nice. Awesome, awesome. So keep the questions coming, guys. Keep them coming. I'm really enjoying this. Please continue to ask questions. I'm going to send a quick message to a friend of mine real quick, and I'll look at it in just a second. Besides what you think about Bachmann steam whisches at HO and N scale, those are good accessories. And Tyco actually did a good one as well. I have one that was made by Tyco, and it works very well. So I'm going to be honest, you know, you can get one of those little accessories, hook it up to an old transformer, and make it work. It's pretty cool. Oh, thoughts on the Scale Trains PS 5820 hoppers they just announced. All I got to say is bring it on. Bring it on. That's going to be a really good release. So keep the questions coming, guys. Keep them coming, because these are good questions and good topics as well. All right. What's your opinion on the Athearn Ready to Roll Thrall Gondola in HO? All right, you pre-ordered one a couple of months ago. I have not seen this yet, but as always with Athearn, I don't expect anything, you know, under. But I know those are going to be a good release when they come out. The Ready to Roll line is good. I've always been a fan of it. It's pretty user friendly and it's also budget friendly as well. I have several ready to roll models in my collection. I have at least 4 or 5 of them in my collection. Joe's World of Trains. It's my friend Joe. What's going on, man? Haven't seen you in a while. How's it going? Great to see you on here. I think Joe does O-gauge, if my memory's correct. And Joe, let me know what scale you. I think you do O-gauge. Oh, okay. Tammy's ready to go work on the layout with Ray. Thanks for all your help. Oh, you're most welcome. Great to see that you were on, Tammy. Welcome to come back anytime. Oh, Gus having the lunatic from Arno. What's going on, Gus? Steve says, also heard Athearn Genesis is doing the other 3 UP Heritage units. Oh, yes. Athearn is coming at this with this, man. I'm really excited about this. And with Athearn Genesis, you guys can expect something that's pretty darn good. And like I said, I have loved Athearn Genesis. They're very well designed, very well detailed. And I don't expect anything that's below average for Athearn Genesis. I've been a fan of Genesis since day one. I've always liked Athearn Genesis, not only for their detail, but for their pulling power. Athearn designs a really good motor. And even with the ready-to-roll motors, as well as the Genesis motors, if you look at them side by side, they're almost like a blue box motor. The ready-to-roll motors were improved from the blue box line per a friend of mine. And also, the Genesis tooling is basically a combination of both the old blue box tooling and the ready-to-roll up tooling and putting it together. So Athearn has a really good motor, has a really good flywheel motor in there. Oh, wow, I do O scale, but I've also been thinking of going back to HO scale. Awesome, man, awesome. HO is really good. HO is really good because I do O gauge, HO, a little bit of N scale, and a tiny, tiny bit of G scale. So lots of good stuff out there with HO. Some guys like to go all out with the different railroads. Some guys it's like a specific one, like Long Island, for example. Some guys have just modeled Amtrak. Some guys have modeled the ATSF or the Southern Pacific. Or I'm sure some modelers out there have done like Cajon Pass and even Tehachapi Loop, Donner Pass. That's on the old BN. And some guys like just to kind of just have a little simple layout with lots of different road names. You know, Southern, Norfolk and Western, Conrail, CSX, Norfolk Southern, all of them. You know, I'm kind of out there a little bit with some of the names because I'd like to see locomotives that are unique or even some that I have seen in real life, like Southern 3170. I have seen NS 911. 1629 is one of the remaining high hoods that still actually retains a high hood. I was able to find one of those. The high hood SD45 that I recently found, just because I have seen one of those in real life. Trying to think. The 70 Mac has always been a favorite newer EMD of mine. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones that I have. Conrail 8090, named the channel after that locomotive, and others. And even Southern 4600 that I have, that's a GP39X, and that's one of the a locomotive that no one talks about. So, got a couple of some comments coming in. This is great, guys. Modern Model Trains comes in. What's going on, man? How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Steve says, I'm also glad KCS SD70 Aces are returning after seeing Athearn's announcement of it. Yes, that's going to look good. And Trainman 1993 comes in with, do you want USA Trains to have new roadmates on the Alco S4? I would love to see that. Joe's World of Trains asks, Pat, do you get rail pace for August? What do you mean by that, Joe? Can you please be more specific? So I'd like to welcome all of you who are just now joining us. Continue to ask the questions. I'm going to get me a glass of water. I'll be right back. So continue to keep the comments coming in, guys. All right. Steven just asked, should Bachmann bring back the B-23s? Oh, yes. That's always a good classic Bachmann release. They've been making those for a long time. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, they were making them, and they have continued to take the plans for what they did back in the 70s and 80s and continuing to improve. And I've always liked Bachmann on that because they released cars and locomotives that they manufactured back in the 70s and 80s, and they're put on the newer tooling. And I think it's wonderful. And Trademan1993 agrees with Steve on this one. So, oh yeah, keep on the questions, guys. Keep on the questions. I'm gonna continue this for a while. So, yeah. Okay, Joe just actually confirmed. Do you get Rail Pace News Magazine? No, I don't. One of my pictures will be in August magazine of Metro North. Hey, that's wonderful. I'll look into this, brother. Thank you for telling me about this. Oh, yeah. Steven just says, yeah, I have Conrail and ATSF B23-7s. Had them since middle school years. Yes. Bachmann's, for as affordable as they are, they're actually built pretty tough. I still have a couple of old Bachmann DCC locomotives that are still running that I bought when I was in middle school / early high school, and they are still running today. So a little bit of care on those things, they can still go. So, and Athens are right up there with Bachmann on this because they're built pretty tough. I mean, just a little bit of cleaning and a little bit of grease, they'll last you a long time if you give the engines the proper care. Matt Console Trademan 1993 just asked again, would you like to see Bachmann make the NW2 and HO scale both DCC ready and DCC in sound? Yes. Thoughts on model power signals? Now that's a brand nobody really talks about. I actually like the some of the products that they have released. I don't own much model power, but their accessories, from what I've looked at, look pretty good. So that's another affordable line as well. All right, I'll look at the questions in just a second, guys. Joe Wilson, I love GP38 Edition. We had 23 engines on Long Island. See my page. I have a video of an old video of my father talk. Oh, that's sweet. Modern model trains. Please ask model railroad questions in particular. Please ask that. But Joe, I think that's wonderful that you got a video that your father took and one of your photos is going to be featured. I think that's wonderful. Matt Console just asked another question. Do you want to see Bachmann make a BP tanker in HO? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Aiden Cochran comes in, one of my homeboys. What's going on, man? Excuse me. What's going on, Aiden? Glad to see that you're on, brother. Glad to see that you're on. Talking a lot about the model trains tonight. Had a real good episode so far. We've actually had some good questions coming in, and oh yeah, this is wonderful. Now, to go back to what Trayman 1993 asked about the BP tanker, I love the older BP logo, where it's got the the BP in the center of the logo. So the older BP logo would look great, and even the green tanker with the yellow lettering. I've always liked that logo. Hanging in there, brother. Just staying busy with everything, and just enjoying life is all I can say. And I'm enjoying every day. Steve says, I wish scale trains either did the ACF, LGB tankers, or the Trinity Reapers in the BNSF scheme. I agree with that one. All right, Modern Model Trains does ask a question that that not many people have asked me. What's one modern train that you wish you could see in HO? Mine is the Ace Tier 4. Well, I got to think on this one. There's been a lot of the ones that they've modeled before. I'm trying to think here. I'm going through all the locomotives that I have seen on the rails and even in museums. I would not mind seeing the E3. There's only one left in existence. So I would not mind seeing the E3 because the E3 is a locomotive that not many people talk about. I also would not mind seeing the GP40 PH-2s on NJ Transit be modeled in HO. Another train that that I've really wanted to see in HO is let me think about it. I just had it. I would love to see Strasbourg 90 get modeled with the Strasbourg passenger cars. Opinions on life light signals from Trainman 1993. Those are pretty good as well. Mark GP39 is done in HO scale. Yes, that's another one I really want to see, Steve. And I would not mind seeing MBTA get modeled in HO as well. The F40PH, I think, dash 3Cs or dash 2Cs, and the GP40 MCs, because the GP40 MCs were built for Canadian National, and I believe they were rebuilt for passenger service. They are the 1100 series. But now Mark has actually rebuilt their GP39s as well, and they are still running. Really glad to see that, and I have yet to see them. Actually, I've seen their MP36s as well. So this is great, guys. This is wonderful. I'm glad to see we've got so many on this stream tonight. I really am enjoying this. Really enjoying this. So keep them coming, guys. So keep the questions coming, guys. Stream's still going to be running. Stream is still going to be running. Okay, we got another one in from Trainman 1993. You want to see some Amtrak Siemens SC44 Chargers in O gauge by Lionel or Atlas. Would love to see Lionel do it, because I believe Bachmann has done a run of those in HO. I would love to see Lionel do them next. So keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. Joe's World of Trains says Lionel is getting way too high. Wolf. Oof. Uh, and I understand. I've looked at O-gauge stuff, recently, and I try to find things, that are pretty cool, and so we do have a couple more comments coming in. Virginia Railfan Productions, what's going on, man? How's it going? Joe's World Trains is a new person that's on, and NS Steampunk, what's going on, man? How's it going? Another new user. Man, got a couple new users on here. I'm happy with this. Um, um, Stephen Casey says, I'm glad to have UP 1988 as Athens on the layout. First UP Heritage I've seen in person, and the first one on my layout. Very cool. NS Steampunk asks, hey, how about some NNW Steam as well? The A, the J, M, W2, E2, and Y class in O scale and HO scale. One answer for that, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to be honest with you. If they're making those at 8, I know the J is being made in HO scale. I do know that, and O gauge and some of the other gauges. But if you just had Norfolk and Western's Big 3 on any layout, oh man, that would literally just make any layout stand out, in my opinion. Now, Trainman 1993 does ask, should Bachmann re-release their EMD SD45 in the Williams by Bachmann line O scale? They've done a good rendition of the SD45. I would love to see them redo it in HO scale from the old Spectrum days. Because I actually own a Conrail SD45 that is made by Bachmann Spectrum. That's actually the locomotive that I actually took apart and was able to fix. I was actually able to take it apart. It was the first locomotive I ever took apart and was able to maintenance the locomotive, fix a couple of cracked gears in it, put it all back together, and it is running smooth. Virginia Railfan Productions has a question. Scale Trains is making the CSX Spirit units with both DCC and Sound. What are your thoughts? That has been a good popular release by Scale Trains. I think they were doing another run, but I know for a fact they're going to go quick. Trainman 1993 has opinions on the Tyco Power Torque 040. Was never really a fan of the Power Torque drives. They weren't the best. That wasn't the best motor that was out there. Wasn't the best drive, but it could pull a few cars. The motors that were used back then were not only the Power Torques by Tyco, the pancake motor that was used in the Bachmann locomotives, as well as the Lifelight locomotives. There was also the flywheel motor that was used by Athearn. Now with Atlas, I don't know what drive system they used back in the 70s and 80s. If anybody knows that, please leave a comment in the live chat. I would love to learn about it. AHM had a very simple drive with a motor and 2 drive links, which looked pretty cool. I think Atlas's tooling on that was very similar. And as Steampunk says, hopefully Lionel could produce the Union Pacific Cyclops locomotives. Yes, those are cool too. Let's see here. So guys, keep the questions coming in. Opinions on Playhard 040 steam engines and HO. Matt, what is Playhard? Were they a manufacturer of HO locomotives back in like maybe the 70s? And are they still in business? If not, who were they bought by? Hold on, guys. I'll look at the comments here in just a second. Joe's World Train says, I would buy one more O-scale train. If Lionel can do Long Island Railroad Buds, M1 and M3s, oh, those are beautiful cars. I wish MTH was still making trains. Yes, indeed. I certainly miss MTH on the shelves of train stores. I have missed seeing the tooling and things like that. I have a couple of MTH rolling stock pieces of rolling. I actually own 4 pieces of MTH. I have the I Love Toy Trains tanker. I have a Milwaukee Road Rail King boxcar, Rail King Norfolk Southern hopper, which is the Pier 6 hopper, as well as the the NS safety train tanker. That's also the Rail King line. The Rail King line was always good. Speaking of MTH, that was a very, very budget friendly line that you can buy. I've always liked the Rail King line. Are questions on semi trucks, aviation, road vehicles like that are still allowed? Yeah, Steve. If you want to ask those questions, go ahead. Anything to do with model railroad stuff, it can be the trains, the rolling stock, the little miniature cars you can put on there, even the little miniature construction equipment, or even something that you can add to the layout like that. You're welcome to add it, buddy. It's fine. And Trainman 1993 says, Pat, do you want to see NW 578, the 462 be a model for S gauge? Ooh, that ought to be pretty good. I believe they were like model power, but I'm not. Okay. Oh, I know what he's referring to. I think he's referring to play art. But for 462, the 578, yes, I would love to see that S gauge. And some people actually say S gauge is the forgotten gauge. It's not talked about very often. Okay, probably around the 80s and 90s for play art HO scale trains. Like I said, they're like the same thing as model power engines like F9s. Okay. Sorry if I had to add to it. No worries, bud. No worries. It's no worries about it at all. If you know an answer, guys, of something that I may not know, please contribute. If you have to take a couple of comments to put it in there, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm glad to learn something new every day. Oh, Charles Bond comes in. Hey, how's it going, man? We've had 5 new users up here tonight. This is great. What's going on, man? Thank you for coming in. Let me fill up my water glass. I'll be right back. Keep the comments coming, guys. All right. And Trainman 1993, thank you for welcoming Charles onto the feed. Says I have how come O scale is not big in the South. You can find O scale clubs everywhere in the Northeast. Oh wow, actually I have noticed that too. I don't know. I have noticed that a lot of the in the southern part, you see a lot of HO clubs. You see N-scale clubs. I have been to an S-gauge club down south a little bit. I've actually attended one. But yeah, I do see a point. Right where I live, O-scale is very popular. We've got a club or two that does O-gauge in my area, and there are some HO clubs in the area as well. Charles Bond does ask, I'm looking for a good Bachmann S4 switcher. What's the best one to get? Well, hang on one second. I'll get to your question. Randy Bowman comes in. Hey, how's it going? ATSF Lionel is a classic. Yes, especially the F3. Charles, really to answer your question on this, it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for a specific paint scheme? Or are you looking for maybe the best deal? Or are you looking for something with just digital command control or digital command control with sound in it? Paint scheme is basically your preference as well as DCC or DCC and sound. You can find good deals at local train stores. Sometimes you can order them direct from the manufacturer. But sometimes train stores may have a little bit better deal and maybe a little bit better selection. So just trying to understand your point of view there. And if I'm not answering something correctly, please say so. Matt comes back in. Opinions on the Bachmann N-scale 040 steam engines with the slope tender. Bachmann did a good rendition of those. And Joe's World of Trains, I have Post-War F3 Southern and ATSF. Both really good models. Stephen KC says, do you think BSO Boeing fuselage cars should be made at HO? Yes, I have not thought about those in a long time. Because BNSF has a contract, I believe, with Boeing to transport airplanes. Which I think is very cool. They're really cool to see transported by train. I have seen many photos, but I've never got to see one up close. I've always wanted to see an airplane get transported by train. I've always wanted that. And Trainman 1993, thank you for helping Charles Bond out. Greatly appreciated, brother. Thank you. Gus is talking with Randy Bowman a little bit. Glad to see a little bit of chatters taking place. So keep the questions coming, guys. This is really enjoyable. So, yeah, got that off. So, yeah, really glad to see some questions coming in, guys. Really glad to see this coming in. So, guys, keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. A lot of good questions. So, keep on bringing the model railroad questions, guys. This has actually been really good topics as well. Trainman 1993 and Stephen Casey Railfin came in at the exact same time. Awesome. Do you see Athern? Do you see? I'm trying to understand this one. Would you like to see Athern do more HO scale sets for the Roundhouse line? I would not mind seeing that, and I hear the Roundhouse line is pretty good for Athern. Steve says, I wonder what it would be like the Boeing planes like the 737, 77, 757 were all done in HO and N scale. I would really love to see that. And, you know, speaking of this, you can literally make an HO scale layout or an N scale layout, whatever. Make your own airport with the air traffic control tower, the AC or ATC tower, and you can actually have your own little airport with your own terminal. I mean, hey, that's pretty cool. Charles Bond comes back with a clarification. DCC with sound, okay, and paint scheme. I should have asked which you prefer as model with model and road names. Trainman, I'm trying to stay loyal to Bachmann. Everything I have is Bachmann, including track. Yes, Bachmann is a good starter line. Bachmann I have used since 2007. I have the Easy Command Control Center, which is wonderful. I do a whole how-to video on the Easy Command Control Center, its functions and how it works, and how to program locomotives with it. I have had Bachmann cars. I've had Bachmann engines. I've upgraded since then, but Bachmann Easy Command Control Center will accept DCC from any manufacturer. Bachmann, Athern, Atlas, Scale Trains, Intermountain, excuse me, you name it. It's also friendly with like Digitrax decoders, which is awesome. But I've never had any problems with Bachmann, and they have really stepped up their game really the last 10 years when they came out with DCC sound value and with the Norfolk Southern Heritage locomotives, which I was very happy to see. And they have gone back and they have improved a lot of their models. So Bachmann is a really good starter line, and plus, if it's budget friendly, guys, and you want to stick with one brand, hey, more power to you. And Randy Bowman, I have that same track as well. CJ4439 comes in. What's going on, man? We need USPS mail trucks with, oh, man, with Jeff Allgood. Oh, man. That would be legit. He's talking about one of my good friends. Yes. Very, very good, CJ. Very good, CJ. Awesome. It's great to see you on here, man. Have some fun with everybody. Randy Bowman says he has Easy Track Black and Gray. Yeah, I have the traditional Easy Track. Joe's War of Train says, I've seen a few videos of model airports in the UK. Very cool. So this could be something that somebody can do. And let me tell you something, guys. You can make your own airport. You can model after one of the real airports. Charles Bunn says, I do use the Digitrax DCC system. Digitrax is pretty good. I have several people who use it who've been happy with it. When I got started, I just wanted something simple, and I have fallen in love with Bachmann Easy Command since 2007. So I've been using the system for 15 years. And I have had nothing but good things about that system. If you're looking for something basic, guys, Easy Command is the way to go. If you want something that's a little more advanced, you can go with Digitrax. Digitrax is up there, a little bit up there in price, but you can do a whole lot with Digitrax. I have guys that use both systems, and they've told me nothing but good things about them. So, yeah. So, this has been enjoyable, guys. I'm going to continue the stream for another little bit. So, guys, keep them coming, please. Keep them coming, please. I'm really having fun with this. So keep the questions coming in, guys. Trainman 1993 says, do you want to see Athens re-release some F7s in Amtrak paint? Yes. I would love to see them. What I would love to see the F9s. I wouldn't mind seeing the F7s. The FL9s were in the early days of Amtrak, and I've always loved the F9s, like I have here on my shirt. I've always loved this paint scheme of Amtrak on the FL9. I would love to see them model those again. Would love to see the Dash 8 Amtrak be modeled again as well. Speaking of Amtrak, and I know the F40s have been done for a while, and I would also like to see the Genesis as they were delivered in Phase 3. I have one of those in HO. I have Phase 4 passenger cars with mine, and it's a pretty cool little set that I run every now and then. But I love seeing Amtrak stuff, and I'm going to be completely honest. I love the fact that sometimes you can look at the past on your layout, even if you didn't see it when you were a kid. But I've always loved Phase 3 on the Genesis when they were delivered in the 90s. That's one of my very favorite schemes on the Genesis. Okay, Amtrak FL9s were mid-80s into late 90s. Thanks, Joe. I figured you would know this because you're familiar with a bunch of the older Amtrak equipment. Thank you very much. Thoughts on the Mantua Tyco drive locos? The Mantuas were pretty good. They were pretty simple to work on according to SMT Mainline. For the ones of you who are not familiar with his channel, please take a look at it. The MU2 motor. The MU2 motor, yes, I'm familiar with that drive. That's a pretty good little drive. Even the regular Mantua line was a good, affordable line as well. So, yeah. Randy Bowman puts a comment in there. Says Amtrak start train set and engine 281. Is that a set that you own? If it's a set you own, it's pretty cool. If it's 281, you have a F40PH, I assume. So, really love these comments, guys. I love it. I love it. So, keep them coming, guys. And plus, you can also talk about, some techniques that you've come across and may want to share them with the audience. You're more than welcome to do that. Steve asked another good question. Should Atlas Trainman do train sets again? Yes, sir. Cato Viewline Sleepers. CJ, I agree with you on that one because that's that'd be a good release for Cato to do, because Cato does a lot of Amtrak stuff. They have done some freight locomotives in the past, but I know a lot of places where I go look in the Cato section, almost all of it is Amtrak stuff. They do really good Amtrak stuff. Yeah. I have one piece of Cato, speaking of that, is my Norfolk Southern Ace and N scale, and I have been very happy with it. Cato has a pretty good drive in their trains. I've been impressed with Cato. I don't own a lot of Cato, just that one piece, but I have heard a lot of good things about Cato's HO line, which I've never experienced, but I hear they're good. Fixing to run some trains. See you later, Charles. Thanks for coming in. Thoughts on Bachmann's F40PH locomotives? They should be making them again in certain scales. Yes, especially from the Spectrum line, because the Spectrum line they did some F40s, and I would love to see Bachmann do that again with DCC sound value. I would love to see that. I know Walters has done releases. I would love to see Athearn do a release. I know Lionel did a release for O-Gauge. I would love to see Bachmann do it again in HO. So I would love to see it in Phase 3, especially with the 1994 upgrade with the ditch lights. So I really would love to see it, because the Phase 3 looked the best on the F40 for the EMDs. Phase 3 looked good on the F40. Phase 2 was actually the second best on the F40. Phase 5 doesn't look too bad, but just that Phase 3 paint just wants to appeal. It just appeals to you. CJ just asked, are you going to get the scale train 611 when they announce it in the next year or two? I'm not sure yet. I just have to look at the price, obviously, and look around. I love to see that 611 is getting modeled in these various gauges. That's literally anybody's pride and joy. Do you want Bachmann to make some GEB 23-7 for the Williams line? Yes. Williams is a pretty cool brand. It's a pretty user-friendly line. I have one piece of Williams for O scale, and that's my Milwaukee Road. It's an N5C caboose. It's a Milwaukee paint scheme, but it just looked cool. And they were actually built by the Pennsylvania Railroad. But the scheme that Bachmann put on there is really nice. The tooling is pretty good for Williams. I have seen some Williams stuff in the past, and Williams is pretty affordable. And everybody remembers K-Line electric trains. You can comment if you remember K-Line electric trains. And Lionel bought them in the mid-2000s. K-Line went out of business, and Lionel took all the inventory, and they filled everyone's orders at that time. And they still produce the K-Line name, the K-Line brand under the Lionel name. Same with the American Flyer line under Lionel. Stephen Casey says, I've done some soldering using a soldering iron to fix wires on some of my locomotives, and I think that's good. Thoughts on LGB Stain's steam engine? Anything LGB is awesome. LGB is a unique line because they do a lot of the German stuff on one side. They also do American stuff as well. I've always liked LGB because they put some detail in their locomotives. Oh yeah. Talk about something that's pretty detailed on G-scale end. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. LGB is the way to go for G-gauge. So, keep the questions coming, guys. Keep them coming. So, I'm going to continue the stream for another little bit. So, guys, continue to ask questions here because I try to open this up for everyone who may be working on a project or working on something on the desk, on the repair bench or whatever, and I'm always here to help. Pat, should I ask you? Yeah, you can ask me, brother. Do you own any LGB screwdrivers to repair your stains? For my LGB steam engine, I just use regular screwdrivers, that I can get, around the house. And I keep some of the ones that I have from my shop inside too. Oh, yes, I think Bachmann should do Gordon and Henry next for the Thomas G-Scale line. Awesome. I had Thomas and James in G-Gauge when I was a little kid. I had that set for a while, and later on it was passed down. So they really do a good job. LGB is really good with their G-Scale stuff. I've always been impressed with it. So keep them coming, guys. This has been a really good episode for this month. Hi for the new run of Atlas-CSX-8s in YN2. Hoping for some of the YN2 Conrail repaint -AWs. Yes! I heard they put the ditch lights back on the locomotives this time. On the -8s and the -8Ws, I think, is what somebody told me. Trainman 1993 does stress, few minutes before the stream ends, ask your final questions if you could. I'm going to continue this for another few minutes, so if you guys have any last minute questions, please ask them within the next little bit. Okay, first time they had ditch lights on the -8 standards. Okay, now I know what you're talking about, CJ. Thanks. I couldn't remember if they did or not. But I would love to see the -8s again, especially in CSX YN2, because that was on the -8 standard cab, besides Norfolk Southern and Conrail, the best CSX paint scheme that ever wore it was YN2. Because, hands down, YN2, best CSX paint scheme ever. I'm a CSX fan because of that paint scheme, and it looked good on the EMDs. Now, should Bachmann offer the DCC-ready -AWs again? Yes, agreed. Speaking of Phase 3, surprised you don't have a Pepsi can. I don't. I don't do a lot of passenger stuff. I do a lot of freight stuff. Like Southern, Norfolk and Western, Conrail, Norfolk Southern, a little bit of CSX, a little Chessie, Seaboard. I have an FEC dummy engine as well. I do, and I also have the 5642, the train first responders locomotive, and I also do a little bit of the passenger side. One of them with a few amphitheats would be legit. Yeah, I actually have some of the old Streamline passenger cars. One day soon, I'll let y'all look at the passenger set that I have. I mean, it's a Phase 3 locomotive with Phase 4 passenger cars. I mixed it up when I was younger. And the passenger locomotive I have, my Phase 3 Genesis, it's made by Athearn, ready to roll, but it was one of the last gifts my grandma gave me before she passed away. So I treasure that locomotive, and I also treasure the passenger cars that I bought with it over time. So I will be bringing that set out again real soon. You want to see a big boy for American Flyer? Yes. And Randy Bowman says, yes, CSX hockey paint scheme next to the war bonnet. Yes. The ATSF war bonnet, the true ATSF war bonnet, is the best one. A lot of people get that scheme mixed up with the fake bonnet paint scheme from the late 90s. I know it's a model rare question / real big train questions. He said, sorry to hear about your grandmother. Thanks, CJ. Bachmann has been stepping up their amphitheats a lot better than the Walthers. Wow, I'm kind of surprised at that because I know Bachmann has done releases of those, and I'm glad to say, and like I said earlier, and I agree, Bachmann has really stepped up their game within the past several years, especially when they came out with DCC sound value. I have yet to even experience one. I've been trying to look for one of those for a pretty good deal. Yeah, I've been really looking for one of those. And see, I have a few of them with my Genesis Amtrak P42. They run great. I take your word on that one. And how about Bachmann doing P42 DCs? I would love to see that too. I would love to see it too. I would love for them to put DCC sound value in there. Thoughts on Bachmann metal wheels? Primo. I love Bachmann's 33-inch flat back wheels. They perform really well, and whenever I have a car that has plastic wheels on there, I pop those off and put Bachmann wheels on there, and they run smooth as silk. Easy mate couplers is the way to go. TCS Wow and a Bachmann 42 DC. They hit it home with the Chargers. Yes, they came out with the Chargers as well, and I've looked at a few of those in the train store that's in my area. They look good. They even done the ACS 64 as well. They look good as well. Stephen Casey Railfin, I was gonna think about it and add a question to it. Awesome, awesome. What kind of Bachmann metal was used to replace metal plastic wheels? I'll say it again, Steve, since it was a little bit earlier. 33-inch flatback wheels. You can get those from your hobby store or pretty much hobby store, train store. You can get those. That's what I use. They perform really well. I've rebuilt my AHM Santa Fe Orange Reaper. That has Bachmann tooling on it now. Bachmann wheels and Bachmann couplers. Some of my older rolling stock, like my older Athearn stuff, I have actually upgraded those with Bachmann wheels, and they run smooth as silk. Thoughts on LaBelle products for service and trains? I have never used LaBelle, but I know SMT Mainline has. And I think SMT's Mainline says they do pretty good. Oh, Ready Company Productions comes in for a little bit. What's going on, brother? And CJ says they're stepping up, but I'll stick with KD couplers. KD is my next favorite brand. KDs are built pretty tough. Dave Valentine comes in. A lot of new users coming in. This is great. Been suggesting scale trains to do the NW pipe guns with both bulkhead sizes, and hopefully they will think it's a good idea. Yes. Oh, and I see, thanks, Fat, because some of my older Bachmann cars with plastic wheels derail on switches sometimes. Yeah, and let me tag along that for a second. The plastic wheels are okay, but they don't last as long. Because on some of the secondhand cars, you will see that little lip there is really chewed up and wore slam out, and the car rides really, really rough. So what you can do is pop those off, put the metal wheels on there, and it will actually raise the car for a lot, and also it's a lot smoother ride. But before you put them on, take a little bit of rubbing alcohol and let them sit in alcohol for a good couple of minutes just to get any dirt or any oil that was left on there from the factory. So you definitely want to do that before you do that. So yeah. But I'm glad to see that there have been some guys coming in. Really great to see a lot of new users. We've had like 6 or 8 new users come in tonight, which is wonderful. Man, so hearty applause to all the new users who've come in tonight. Thank you very, very much. And everybody who has been coming back ever since I started doing this. Thank you very much. Hearty applause. Hearty applause. So, guys, keep this coming. I'm going to extend this for a while, guys. So keep them coming. Keep the comments and questions coming. One of the last questions that Matt asked for tonight. You want Lion to re-release the operating milk car? Yes, that would be so good, man. And introduce the operating cattle car in HO, and same with the milk car. Yes, the cattle car, I think, was new in the 40s or the 50s. That was Lionel's best-selling operating car. The milk car was popular, but the cattle corral platform was actually Lionel's best-selling operating car. So it's a really cool accessory. It's awesome. So you can think about, having, a farm scene with this, which would be awesome. Oh, wow, the Broadway Limited ACL R1 Steamer 484. Yeah, those are pretty. Randy, what are you trying to ask? Are you talking about a suggestion maybe or something you own? So Broadway Limited is good stuff. I mean, that is I think CJ will agree with me on this one. It's top of the line. I think that's the best you can get. And Trayman 1993 is rolling out. Great to see you, brother. Thank you for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. Suggestion for both of us, probably. Yeah. Uh, so I know Athearn has come out with the SD40-2 high hoods again in Norfolk Southern. I know that. And they're putting in the Tsunami 2 sound in the Ready to Roll series, which I really think is awesome. Now, should scale trains do Iowa Interstate ES44s? Yes, I love the black, the yellow, and red. That's a really pretty paint scheme. That's a really pretty paint scheme. That's a railroad that no one really talks about. The Iowa Interstate. That's a really cool railroad. So I'll continue this, guys, for another few minutes. So if you have any last-minute questions, please ask them now. CJ says we could use new ready to run SD60s. That would be a really good release in the thoroughbred scheme. Yes, in the horse head. I always call it the horse head. They would look good by Athearn ready to run. I wouldn't even mind seeing Genesis doing another run of those. I also would like to see them in Conrail can opener or Conrail CRQ, Conrail quality. I would not mind seeing both of them in HO again. Have you heard of Truck and Stuff? They do HO scale trucks. No, I haven't. That's pretty cool. Truck and Stuff. That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool, catchy name there. So, yeah. So, I'm going to continue this, guys, until about 8:20. And then we will call it a night. That's 8:20 Eastern time. We will continue it to then. Go ahead. I'll take care, Pat. Thanks, CJ. Appreciate it, brother. I really do appreciate you coming and for all the good topics for tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get me some ice cold water real quick, and we'll go ahead and continue with the last little bit of questions for tonight. I'll be right back. Okay, Ready Company Productions comes in and says, is it just me or do I have a weird locomotive proposal? Please share. Oh, I'd love to see what this is going to be like. This is going to be a pretty good one, guys. I hope NS8101 is the next one in scale trains, ES44s. Yes, I agree with that, Steve. The SD47. I've never heard of that locomotive. I mean, I know the SD7, SD9, SD24, SD35, and 40, 45, 50, and 60, 70, 80, and 90. But I've never heard of the SD47. And uprated SD45 to 3,700 horsepower. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. That'd be pretty cool. And 2 turbochargers. Pretty cool. Now, would it actually have the standard cab or the high hood cab? But Guys, this has been wonderful tonight. Thank you very, very much. High hood and standard options included. Awesome. If Athens Genesis did NS High Hood 38-2s, would you get one? Well, first, I would be glad they did them. I would really love to see them in Southern paint. The NS paint I would not mind seeing because I can also do like maybe a late 80s, early 90s contest, which I would really like to see. Actually, really 1994, really the mid 90s when that happened because I'll get the Dave Valentine's comment in a second. Here's when it all happened. Norfolk, I know this is a railroad question, but this kind of relates to this a little bit. Norfolk Southern Corporation was formed on June 1st of 82. That's when the corporate side merged. And Norfolk and Western and Southern continued to run independently until 1994. Then that's when the railroads merged, and that's when everything was going over to Norfolk Southern paint. So an early Norfolk Southern contest would look great anyway. So definitely awesome there. SD45 was 3,600 horsepower. Yeah, the SD45, like I said, it's a good HO scale model. I have two of those, one in each of the options, one high hood and one standard cab. I have done a complete review on the SD45 that I recently just purchased, my Norfolk and Western High Hood 45. If you have not yet looked at that video, please take the time to do it. That's actually been a real popular one right now. That's actually one of the most recent that I put up there. So definitely take a look at that. So as we wind down this, I would like to go over just a couple of quick announcements before we close tonight. The July Q&A responses have yet to be recorded. I will be tending to those here probably tonight or even tomorrow. I will be getting those up. The August Q&A prompt is already out, so if you have not asked your questions for August, you have lots of time on that. That is also on the channel as well. I do have a couple of premieres that are in the lineup. One of those projects is done. I'll be getting that up there as well. Ready Company Productions left a couple of comments. I'd love to see get a Southern 45 and high hood HO or N scale. And yes, Southern had the high hood 45s. I have a Norfolk and Western version. Great stream, Pat. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it. I also have a couple of more projects that I am working on, just not finished yet. But one of the three major projects I have has been saved. I just got to get it up on the channel, and a premiere date and time will be announced soon. I did release an engineer's bulletin today as well, so definitely take a look at that in my community section where it gives all of the updates as well. Fantastic stream. Wish I could have made it early. Hey, bud, I'm just glad you tuned in for a little bit, man. Thank you so much. I'm really glad. I'm very gracious and thankful for all the great support on these streams and also for the channel itself. And Steve says, I wish to have an NS High Hood 40-2. I think that'll come out soon with Ready to Roll and also with Tsunami 2 in it. So if you really think you want to upgrade the sound, I will be honest with you. It's going to be good. I think they're doing it in the Norfolk Southern paint. I think they're doing the X Southern numbers, I think, which they did many years ago, and Athens doing that again. And Dave Valentine says, I have a SD45 problem. Pennsylvania, Reading, Penn Central, Erie, Lackawanna, NW, and NS. Wow, you're an SD45 fan. I have Norfolk and Western, and I have a Conrail. But like I said, I do have some products in the works. One of them is going to be uploaded hopefully the next couple of days to get that done. And I have a couple of more outstanding products that are still in the process of being edited. So please remember to turn the bell on for the notifications that are coming on, and also tune in for any premiere dates. So anyway, guys, that wraps up Model Railroad Mondays August edition. I'm really glad to see everybody tune in tonight. It was a wonderful stream with lots of great questions and lots of different topics. So I'm really glad for the ones who tuned in tonight. This has been wonderful. So guys, like I said, thank you for the support. And stay tuned for the latest updates that I have coming out with the channel. And lots of good stuff coming out soon. So just remember, smash the like button, drop a comment down below. Remember to hit the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you guys very much. May God bless, and I hope all of you are enjoying the model railroad hobby, and I hope you guys find these streams helpful, and I will see you for next month's episode in September. Thank you guys. May God bless, and good night.